It's not what's up, it's g'day. I'm Russell from Australia, and I'm here today to talk to you about Cleveland blocks, and in particular NASCAR versus standard Cleveland blocks, because I happen to have two here side by side. So what are my credentials? I'm a mechanic of 45 years. I've been playing with Clevelands for about 42 of those 45 years. I've built several motors. I've owned a lot of Falcon GTs here in Australia with Clevelands, and I currently race a Group NC historic touring car, which happens to be a replica of a GTHO Falcon. So I'm talking about Ford manufactured blocks only. As you know, they're US made, and Australia made them up to about 1982. Australia was also responsible for producing two lots of castings for NASCAR racing, and I'll also mention pillow blocks and black blocks versus blue blocks, and a little bit of information about that. So how to identify a NASCAR block. This is a D2AE block. It's a fairly standard number that you see on Cleveland's. It was cast on the 20th of February 76. Now NASCAR blocks don't have the D2. What they actually have is an XE lettering first up, and this one was cast on the 2nd of December 75. So these two blocks are only 3 months apart and both cast in Australia. The next quick observation on these two blocks is standard blocks got no paint on it, but NASCAR blocks, I wouldn't say all of them, but a lot that I've seen always have red oxide that's actually been put on by the factory because it's machined off. Anywhere where there's machining, the red oxide disappears. Obviously this block has been tubbed at some stage and a lot of the red oxide has come off, but I've seen brand new blocks, and they have paint marks and all sorts of things on them, and this red oxide finish. So starting at the top, apart from the side I just showed you, there is no difference to the external appearance of the block. The standard block has all these X's and Y's down here. These holes have been chamfered a little bit. This block has all the X's and Y's down the side as well. These drain back holes have actually been opened up on this block. The front of the block is the same. There's no difference. No difference to the top of the block. There's no difference when you look in from the front. They look identical, other than this has got 2 bolt mains, and this block, if I get down low enough, has got 4 bolt mains. But all in here, all of that casting is identical. You know, the outside lugs around here, you know, it's all the same. And the back of the block's the same. So externally, unless you're looking at an XE number, you're not going to tell the difference. You know, it's even the same here. It's still got a raised square there. So like I said, unless you're looking at the XE number externally, I don't think there's any difference between the two blocks. It's interesting to notice that these blocks, even though they're only 3 months apart, they have these markings down the back here. Don't ask me what they mean. And this one has the same, but they're very hard to see. Other than what I've spoken about already, the 3 main differences in a NASCAR block as compared to a standard block. First is they're a higher nickel content block. That means that the block or the material is physically stronger. The second one is the pan rails and the thickness of the pan rails. And the third one is the main webs and the thickness of the main webs. So in detail, direct comparison, there's the pan rail on the Nascar. Looking over here, there's the pan rail of a standard Cleveland block. You can see that that's all hollowed out there, all the way down the block. Go back to the Nascar, I'll only show you one side, but solid as. So that firstly makes the whole bottom end a lot stronger. Second thing is the main web. So this is very flat all the way through here. If you look at this block, straight away you can see the difference. It's still thick there, but it's not thick there. It's not thick there where the bolt bosses are and where the 4 bolt bosses are. All Clevelands have the capacity to be drilled for 4 bolt mains. So switching back to this one, you can see how thick that is all the way through. All the way over here, you can't see any bolt bosses, and they're all the same all the way down. Okay, so that's the second point. Looking on the back side of the block, from the back, same thing. Thick all the way through there. This is number 4 main, and straight away you can see the difference. It's all hollow through here, and that little bit there as well. Oh, but you say, but the bores are thicker. The Nascars have thicker bores. No, they don't. They have the same bore core shift problems as what a standard old everyday Cleveland block is. And in actual fact, this block, while it's had 2 sleeves, it's had a bit of damage here from a blow up previous to me buying it. But this block, if you really want to make a race motor out of it, it needs 1 more sleeve because it's a bit thin in one of the bores, because I've had it sonic tested. This block here, I've sleeved 1 bore as well. This is about to be built, this motor. And it would be okay for the street, but not if you're going to flog it a bit. So core shift is still a problem between standard Clevelands and Nascar Clevelands, and the later blocks suffer the same problems. But what about Siamese bores? No, they don't have Siamese bores. That's another fallacy. They just have normal cast bores. So my advice, number 1 with a Nascar block is you need to get it sonic tested. I don't care if it's brand new in the crate, you need to get it sonic tested. And the story goes that the later blocks, the later Pillow Nascar blocks, got sent to America and got rejected and come back to Australia. So you need to think about this. If you're in Australia and you come across a Nascar block, you think you've got gold, but you have to some extent. They've got the 4 bolt caps. They've got the thicker pan rails, but you still got to sonic test them. And I'll put up a picture as well. Some of the Nascar blocks of the second batch have 2 bolt caps, even though they have holes for 4 bolts. I've got a photo of a 4 bolt cap, and the drilling in the block hasn't been tapped. So they've used a 4 bolt cap with just 2 bolts, and that's because they were run out blocks. They were put in anything from F100s to Fairlanes and Falcons and LTDs and things. They sort of pop up all over the place, but certainly later 83 blocks ended up in F trucks, but not all F trucks. You just take your chances. But a Nascar block is good in that it's got the pan rails, it's got the thicker webs, but after that, the bore, you can still have problems there. As I already said, this one, while being an early one, needs a sleeve if I want really give it a hard time. So can you go bigger than 30 thou? Absolutely. My race motor in my Group N car is it happens to be a black block, sonic tested, and currently it sits at 40 thou. And it is such a good block for core shift that I would have no hesitation in boring it to 60 thou over, which is the limit of the regulations, if I had to. But look, you could go through 100 blocks before you find a block like that, and I think that was Australian 302 block, which is no different to a 351 block. So, you know, I know I'm pushing the point, but sonic test, sonic test, sonic test. You just don't start building a Cleveland without sonic testing the block and seeing how thick the bores are. Okay, some final thoughts. Sonic testing is not the be-all and end-all, because you're only checking, usually, 12 positions in the bore. So a bore could be thinner in an area. I had a mate with a circuit race car like mine, black NASCAR late model pillow block, and it split a bore. Got it fixed, split another bore. I didn't build the motor, and I don't know whether it was sonic tested or not. But say it was. It could have just split somewhere where it wasn't measured. So sonic testing's not the magical panacea that we think it is, or what everyone says we should do. It certainly probably picks up, 80 or 90% of the chances of you having a problem. His block went to a drag race. We put 8 sleeves in it, and I would say that's a really, really good way of doing a Cleveland, starting with a NASCAR block and putting 8 sleeves in it. Would I put 8 sleeves in a normal block? I'd always be worried about how wobbly the block gets in a racing situation. In a street car situation, or a genuine car that you want to keep the matching numbers block, yeah, you can probably put 8 sleeves in it. I know a couple of people have done that, and the motors have gone good, but they're street cars, not drag cars or race cars, which, there's a big difference between drag motors and what components you use in them, because they only have to last 10 seconds, and they'll go 5 seasons. My race motor will go 5 seasons, but I rev it to 7200. I don't have titanium valves, can't afford titanium valves. I build the motor myself, has a scat crank, has good Corello rods, but roller cam, yada yada yada. But drag racing is really quite different to what a circuit car engine experiences, or for that matter, a street car that you flog occasionally. So I hope all the information I've given you is accurate, and it's what I've touched, seen, built, raced, with a little bit of hearsay from things like NASCAR blocks, or some NASCAR blocks being returned to Australia. I said earlier I'd talk about a couple of different pillow blocks. So you have a photo there. Top photo is a NASCAR pillow block, a later block. Bottom photo is a non-NASCAR pillow block. People say the pillows are there to add extra coolant, and I won't debate that. Does it make the block stronger? As people say, they're thicker out there. Well, if the pillows made the block thicker, you've already got the proof. A NASCAR block's what you want. Thicker main webs, thicker pan rails. If the block was thicker out there, is it going to strengthen the block? No. It's probably more likely that it was to add coolant, because XD and XE Falcons in 79 on ran very hot with emission controls and used to suffer, all the time. Dealerships used to have them in all the time. So extra coolant, yeah, maybe. Extra strength, no. So on a standard Cleveland pillow block, I don't think it makes any difference. The second photo is blue versus black blocks. Blue blocks were firstly imported from the USA and then made here in Australia up till about 79, and then we started making black blocks. The only difference with a black block is the Bosch distributor hole for the shaft below the gear is, I think it's 12.5 mil, and a blue block's 13. And I think all it was the points distributor, Ford didn't want people fitting a points distributor to where the electronic emission control distributor was fitted. So you can't swap them over unless you actually bore out the block a little bit. Is a black block any stronger? I don't see any difference in them. Actually, my race car is a black block. Is there any less core shift, or are the bores any thicker? No, they're not. I just happen to have a good one, but I've measured others and they all suffer core shift. So blue and black doesn't really make any difference. You just got to remember, if you're using a black, you need a smaller distributor shaft. So guys, thanks for listening. I hope that clears up a few myths, and get in that Cleveland, give it a good rev, look after it, and we'll catch you next time. Cheers.